how many people have ever been or know people who have been bullied or teased or felt misunderstood? Okay, so that's pretty much everyone. Okay, show of hands, how many people have ever been really, really worried about something? Maybe you have test anxiety, you can't seem to let it go, you keep bringing it over into your next day, and then the next day, and it just seems like things keep getting worse and worse and worse. Okay? Show of hands, how many people have ever been really, really stressed out? Really, really stressed out. According to the National Institute of Health, stress is 94% leading cause of all chronic illness, pain, and disease. So if you take care of stress, you take care of all of that. How many people are constantly, show of hands, asking themselves why when something happens? Why did they break up with me? Why can't I get ahead? Why can't I move forward in this class? Why can't I hit the ball or shoot the ball farther? Why can't I remember my lines or my music for the play? Okay, a lot of people. Why keeps you stuck? So when you learn how to bake a cake, do you learn how to bake a cake by asking why do you bake a cake, or do you learn how to bake a cake by asking how do you bake a cake?
That's how.
How, right. How moves you forward? Why keeps you stuck in the problem? Okay? So when you were looking around and I was asking you guys those questions and you saw each other's hands up, a lot of people feel like their problem is their problem and that no one else in this world understands what they're going through, have ever been in it before. But look around. Your whole class have all experienced the same things you've all experienced. You're not alone in it. Like Jill said, my name is Mark. I am a medical and clinical hypnotherapist and coach. I'm also Wisconsin's leading motivational mindset expert for worry, direction, and life empowerment. So that means like if you're having trouble deciding on where to go to school, what to do about life, if you feel like you're stuck in life, you're spinning your wheels. How many of you ever felt like you get one step forward and two steps back? Oh my God, yeah, yeah. So what I do as a coach and a hypnotherapist is I help people get unstuck. I meet them where they're at, and I help them to raise up to where they want to be and beyond. And what I really do is I give them the step by step how to move them from that pain of their life into the pleasure of what they want for their life. And what's really, really great is it can happen extremely, extremely quick. Do you have a marker? Aha. You do. I have my cheat sheets, my notes. This isn't permanent, is it?
Nope.
Okay. All right, so excuse my writing, I don't do this a lot.
Look at how scary similar our handwriting is.
I told you.
I wrote what's on the left where it says guest speaker, and he wrote on the right.
Can you tell it must be in our blood?
Must be family.
It must be, right? Okay, so we're going to look at psychoanalysis, behavioral therapy, and hypnotherapy. Okay? So these are the three primary things that people will go to when they're dealing with any kind of issue or any kind of problem. Most people go to this first. Then if that doesn't work, they go to behavioral therapies. If that doesn't work, usually hypnotherapists, we're the last resort for people. And my mission is to make it the first protocol for people. Now, let's go to psychoanalysis. How many sessions in psychoanalysis do you think it takes for people to heal and recover? Take a guess. 100? Any other guesses?
5.
5? Any other guesses?
A lot.
A lot? She's actually closer with a lot. For psychoanalysis and anything that falls into that category, it takes 600 plus sessions.
That's a lot.
for healing and recovery in most cases. Out of those cases, how many percent-wise of people do you think actually get healing and recovery?
6%.
6? Less than 1?
Less than 50.
Less than 15?
10.
I don't know if you can see this. 38% of people using psychoanalysis therapies with over 600 sessions get 38% recovery. Okay, let's do behavioral health. How many sessions do you think in behavioral health you need? 200? Come on, Bueller. Come on. Throw out numbers. You guys are, what, graduating soon? Juniors, seniors, high school? You know your numbers by now.
No.
200?
25.
25? Okay. 22 sessions on average. 22 sessions on average for behavioral health, for healing and recovery. What percent of people do you think, how many percentage of people do you think will heal and recover with 22%? 85?
50.
50? Okay. 72%. Only 72% of people using behavioral health after 22 sessions will have healing and recovery. Hypnotherapy, how many sessions?
1.
3, 1.
2.
2. Anyone else? Average? Only 6 sessions. On average. Sometimes it's less, sometimes it's a little more. On average, it's 6 sessions. Percent recovery? 90? 95?
70.
70? Okay. 93% recovery rate with hypnotherapy and hypnosis. Now look at that compared to that. It's a pretty big difference, isn't it? It's a huge difference. Why? My belief is these things have their time and place and they do work for certain people, yes. But they focus so much on the problem. They keep you stuck in the problem, talking about the problem over and over and over and over, and they see people, God bless you, for years and years and years and years and years. Hypnotherapy and coaching doesn't do that. We focus on the solution. I tell people, consider me like a GPS. You know how a GPS works?
Yeah.
Where are you now, and where do you want to go? And what's the fastest and easiest way to get you there? I worked with a woman, when she first came to me, she had gone to all of these people. She had seen every kind of doctor, every kind of psychologist, psychiatrist, you name it. She was on every kind of medication you could think of. She was cutting herself. She was self-medicating herself. She was an alcoholic. She was addicted to opiates. She was in bad shape, really bad shape. Her husband had to drag her into my office because most days she was in the fetal position with chronic pain. She sat across from me in my office and we began talking. She could barely talk without crying. She was in that much emotional and physical pain. At the time when I first started with her, she was seeing her regular doctor and her regular therapist. Both of them had her on a depression and an anxiety scale. Now that scale goes from 1 to 25. 25 being bad, 1 being you're doing really good. She was at a 23 on average. After 4 sessions with me and no medication, she went down to a 4. Down to a 4. She now no longer walks with a cane. Her pain is gone. She stopped smoking on her own. We never addressed that. Her marriage was improved. She no longer has a fear of heights or claustrophobia. We never once addressed those things. Those were side effects of other stuff. Just like weight and smoking, they were side effects of other things. They went away by themselves. She now has a motorcycle, which she was previously afraid to do, and she drives everywhere, and she loves life. When you clear up the root with hypnotherapy and coaching, when you get to that root, it's like weeding in a garden. When you take that weed and you pluck it off by the head, what happens? It comes back, grows back, right? But if you dig it up by the root of what that root problem is and you fill it in with something good, that you actually want to have, it doesn't come back. It doesn't come back any longer. And once you've changed, you can't unchange. And how you change is all dependent on what your focus is, and all dependent on what your expectation is. Energy flows where attention goes. So what you're putting your attention on, you're going to get more of that because you're feeding it. You're putting more attention into that, and you're getting more of that. So if you look for the good, you find the good. If you look for the bad, you find the bad. What you focus on, you get. Now, you might not always get what you want in the way you want it, or exactly how you want it, but you're always going to get what you expect. Shh, I'm talking. So what you focus on is so important. So have you ever gotten home at the end of the day and you just keep repeating to yourself, either out loud or in your head, I'm so tired, I'm so worn out, I'm so tired. What happens? You fall asleep. You start feeling more tired, don't you? There was an interesting study done in a factory where it was a psychosocial study where they had people come into the factory, and this factory had hundreds of people. They introduced the idea of the flu. They started talking about the flu. They started talking about symptoms of the flu. By the end of the day, 87% of the factory went home and came down with flu symptoms. There wasn't flu. It didn't exist. Everything is created in your brain first. Cornell University did a study on basketball players. They hooked all the basketball players up to monitors. Heart rate monitors, brain functioning monitors, breathing monitors, blood pressure, you name it, how the muscles fired up. The first team, they said, go out, play the game. So they went out, played the game, they measured everything. The second team, they said, okay, sit down, feet on the floor, hands in your lap. Close your eyes and imagine. Imagine playing the game exactly how you would as if you were out on the field. They took them through a little guided visualization. Do you know what happened? Everything fired off identically to the first team. The brain does not know whether something is real or if something's made up. And it takes 17 seconds to a minute to convince your brain that you're happy, just by smiling, just by focusing on something different. It starts producing those endorphins and those chemicals and the dopamine in your brain, and it sends it to your body. So what you think about, you really do get. So if you're thinking about something happy, your brain goes, oh, they're happy, and starts sending that chemical from your brain down through your body, and your cells, which are like little cups, little bowls, start vibrating. And they vibrate to match. So the bowl, the cup, fills up with the chemical of dopamine and adrenaline and happy stuff. And it starts reproducing throughout your body, and you feel good. Same with negative stuff. It starts matching, and it fills those bowls. Problem with negative stuff, it starts sending that chemical in a faster rate and in a larger quantity. So pretty soon the bowl is filled up, and everything else spreads throughout your body as excess and becomes illness and disease. If you can clear up things on an emotional and spiritual level first, physically everything takes care of itself. So I'm going to do a little exercise with you guys now, okay? Stand up. Stand up, stand up, stand up. Please, please, please. Good job. Well done. Okay. So I'm going to show you how your mind can visually change your physical environment. So I want you to go ahead and put your hands straight out in front of you. Good. Palms facing each other. Clap your hands together. Lock your fingers. Good. Bend your elbows. Put your pointer fingers up. Good. And I want you to go ahead and look at that space right in between your fingers. Look at that space right in between your fingers, and I want you to focus there. Just focus on that space right in between your fingers as your fingers are spread wide apart. Spreading your fingers wide apart and focusing on that space right in between your fingers. I want you to go ahead, and as you're focusing on that spot, I want you to visualize and imagine a magnet. A very strong and very powerful magnet. And as you focus on that spot in between your fingers and visualize and imagine that strong magnet, feeling the pull of that magnet, your fingers are going to begin to start to twitch. They're going to start to pull inwards more and more. The more you visualize that magnet, the more your fingers are going to begin to pull in more and more, closer and closer. As your fingers twitch and pull, feeling that tug, focusing on that spot in between your fingers, focusing on that spot in between your fingers, just feeling that magnet pull those fingers closer and closer together, closer and closer together. Pretty soon your fingers will probably touch. Feeling your fingers bring in closer and closer together and touching, focusing on that magnet, focusing on that spot in between, feeling that pull get stronger and stronger, feeling that pull get stronger and stronger, feeling that pull get even stronger as those fingers go even closer. And while you imagine that magnet in between your fingers, while you imagine that pull getting stronger and stronger, just imagine a rubber band being wrapped around your fingers tighter and tighter, tighter and tighter, tighter and tighter. Feel that rubber band getting tighter and tighter on your fingers, tighter and tighter, very, very tight, pulling your fingers close together, pulling them so close together that they're so locked together where they're almost like they're glued together, glued safely shut. So how many people's fingers touch?
I did like 25 times.
25 times. Raise your hands if your fingers touch. Raise your hands if your fingers got closer and closer together. Good. Now everyone is hypnotizable. It's just some people are more suggestible than others. So we're gonna do another one. Put your hands out. Whichever hand is your dominant hand, the hand you write with, I want you to go ahead and put that hand facing down towards the floor. Whichever hand is your non-dominant hand, the one you don't write with, go ahead and face that up. Good. Now I want you to focus on both of those hands. Focus on both of those hands right now, and I want you to close your eyes. Just close your eyes right now, that's right. Close your eyes and focus on those hands. Focus on those hands, both of those hands, and close your eyes. I want you to go ahead and pay attention to the hand that is facing down, your dominant hand that's facing down. Pay attention to only that hand. Focus all your attention on that hand, that's right. I want you to go ahead and imagine, while you're focusing on that hand, just imagine that there's a very, very strong, very large, very powerful helium balloon tied to that wrist. Just imagine that helium balloon tied to that wrist. And as you start to begin to feel that helium balloon tied to that wrist, that's right, just feel the tug of that balloon tugging up on your wrist, feeling your hand become lighter and lighter, lighter and lighter, lighter and lighter. Feeling your hand become lighter and lighter as that balloon starts pulling that hand upwards. Just focusing on that wrist, focusing on that balloon, imagining that wrist moving up even more. Now tie another balloon, so there's two very strong, very powerful balloons on that wrist. Pulling that wrist higher and higher, focusing, pulling it even higher. And while you're focusing on those balloons, pulling them even higher, I want you to imagine in your other hand that your hands face up. Just imagine that there's a really, really heavy textbook in that hand. Just imagine a very heavy textbook in that other hand. Pulling that hand down even more. Pulling that hand down even more, that's right. And the heavier that hand gets with yet another book in it, the lighter the other hand gets and pulls upwards. Feeling the weight of that heavy, heavy textbooks in the other hand pulls the other hand even higher as the other hand goes even lower, that's right, that's right. So go ahead and open your eyes and look at your hands and where are they at. Some of them are drastically different. So could you feel the weight in one hand?
Yeah.
Could you feel the other hand being lighter?
My fingers.
Your fingers tingle? Good. Go ahead and have a seat. So, just by the power of what you're focusing on and the power of your thought, you were able to change your physical reality, weren't you? For a lot of you, it was really dramatic. So what you focus on is so important. If you tell yourself you can't, you can't. You just tell yourself you're not going to do it, you won't. Same with homework, same with life. We put up these limiting ideas, these limiting beliefs in our own life. And that's what coaching and hypnotherapy does. It helps you to move past those things so you can have more of what you want and less of what you don't want. Does it make sense? Now, like I said before, everyone is hypnotizable. If you think you can't be hypnotized, you're lying to yourself. Because we actually put ourselves into hypnosis at least 2 times a day. The moment before you wake up and the moment before you go to bed. You're actually putting yourself into trance. How many of you drive? Show of hands. Drivers? How many of you, show of hands, have gotten from point A to point B and safely gotten there, but kind of zoned out the trip in between? You're in what's known as road trance. You're actually hypnotized at that point. Have you ever daydreamed? You know how you feel like when you're daydreaming? That's what it feels like to be under hypnosis. We all do this. It's called Arthurian rhythms in our brain, and it sends those chemicals and those messages every 20 to 30 minutes throughout our brain. That puts us in and out of hypnosis. A friend of mine watched QVC once, and 2 weeks later she had a vacuum show up at her door, and she has no recollection of why she ordered it. When you're watching TV, you zone in, and you're in hypnosis. Have you ever identified with characters in a show and started feeling what they're feeling? That's DTI, deep trance identification. You start identifying with those characters, and you start taking on and feeling their emotions and feeling what they're going through. That's why it's a bad idea to watch TV right before you go to bed, because whatever is going on the TV is going right into your unconscious mind and giving you suggestions. Now, there are only 2 types of people who can't be hypnotized. Does anyone know what 2 types of people can't be hypnotized? Any ideas? The first type of person who cannot be hypnotized are people with an IQ of 70 or below. You all have an IQ higher than that. The smarter that you are, the easier it is for you to be hypnotized. And people who are considered criminal psychopaths can't be hypnotized. Why? Because hypnosis is focused attention. Focused attention. And you're actually in a state of hyper-awareness. You're completely aware of what's going on. People who are fall into those 2 categories, their mind is too scattered. They can't focus on one thing. So under hypnosis, you're not going to say anything that's not safe or good for you to do. Anything that goes against your core values or beliefs, you won't do. So stage hypnotists, they get the people to do the fun. You've seen people cluck like a chicken and things like that, yeah? They do that because they know it's entertainment and they agree to do it. They agree to do it. I have not found in medical and clinical hypnosis any way that clucking like a chicken is going to help them. So don't do that in that. And like I said, you're in total control when you're under hypnosis. It feels just like you're daydreaming. You're perfectly aware of what's going on. You actually feel like you're resting. But you're completely aware. You're actually more aware than what I am. My mother swears to God she's never been hypnotized. I can tell she is, but she swears she's not because she's completely aware of what's going on. She feels like she's just laying there resting. She can hear the sound of my voice. She can hear anything that's going on. But for some reason, whenever she thinks of sunflowers, the pain goes away. But she's not hypnotized. No. So what I really want you guys to take away from this is what you focus on is exactly what you're going to get. If you have that test anxiety, if you're focusing on being anxious about the test, you're going to be anxious about the test. But if you focus on, I know the answers, I've studied hard, I know they're in my unconscious mind, and my unconscious mind will bring them forward for me. I know what I know. I'm smart, I'm talented. If you focus on that, where's the room for the anxiety? There's no more room because you pushed it out with something positive, something good. If you're getting over a breakup and you're constantly going, why did he cheat on me? Why did they lie to me? Why did she do this? Why did he do that? Why aren't we together anymore? What's that doing? It's feeding those fears. It's feeding those negative emotions. And then you're getting more of that. And it keeps you stuck in that why. But what happens if you say, well, how can I move on from this relationship? What have I learned from this relationship? What did they teach me? What did I teach them? How am I a better person for going through what I went through? Right? So I just recently wrote a book called The 5 Keys to Unlock Confidence for Teens Who Are Feeling Bullied. any of you know of anyone who could use it, or you want it yourself, or your parents, or any adults who were bullied in the past, who are still carrying that with them, which will happen, need it, I'm giving it away for free on my website. You guys, if you took one of my cards, you've got the address on there. Just go on there, all you need to do is put your name and name, phone number, and email in there, and I'll send you my ebook right away. You'll get that to be used if you want that. Does anyone have any questions about hypnosis or how it works, how I work? Nothing, huh? Yeah.
So you don't use the whole pocket watch, you really
I can, I don't. What people are doing with the pocket watch is, remember I said it's fixated attention, focus? So what that does when you have the pocket watch is it focuses their attention on that. And when it's up high and when they start swinging it a little bit, that creates what's called eye fatigue. And when you have eye fatigue, you go into hypnosis quicker. So there are people who use that. It's a very showy way of inducing the state of hypnosis. It's a very slow way of inducing the state of hypnosis, because there's millions of different, they're called inductions, to get people from the conscious state to the unconscious state. And the unconscious state is where all your memories, resources, all of your tools lie. It's like the hard drive of your computer. Everything is still there, it just brings it forward.
Can you explain your schooling?
Like
how long you went to what degrees?
Sure. I have never done the school. I have to do what's called CEUs, continuing education units. I have to do them, well, depending on my degree, I have to do them every year or every 2 years. One of them needs 40 CEUs every 2 years. One of them needs 15 CEUs every year. So my schooling and education is always ongoing, and I'm always learning things, because the more I learn, the more I can help you guys. My first bout of schooling was 2 years, and then I take classes here and there that range from workshops and weekends all the way up to week-longs or more. Does that make sense? And you can learn this stuff online. Don't. This is a very kinesthetic thing. You need people to work with, you need people to practice on, and you need to go through a school that's actually accredited and licensed so that you know you're doing it right. Because if you're doing some hypnosis work with people, like let's say I'm working with someone in a clinical setting, and I bring them to a point in their past that was traumatic for them, and all of a sudden they start going into trauma, I need to know how to get them out of that and heal that for them. I can't leave them there in that. So so I do know of people who have done just online things, and they get to points like that, and they don't know what to do. Because just going to YouTube will not teach you what you need to do to learn. I mean, you can learn a lot from YouTube, but it's not going to teach you what you need to know in order to do it safely, ethically, and properly. And there are laws and guidelines that you need to follow in order to be able to practice. Any other questions? Yeah.
How long is like an average session?
Average sessions, it depends. Typically a minimum of an hour and a half, roughly. Depending on the client and their own process, and depending on what they need, sometimes I've even had sessions go as long as 4 hours. That's been my longest session. But average, hour and a half. And we're good. Because, like here, it happens quick. It happens very, very, very fast for a lot of people. Do you have any other questions? Yeah.
How did you get into this profession?
It found me. Really, it kind of found me. I was looking at the time, I was a recreational therapist, and I was looking at the time for something different. And I was researching schools. I actually thought I wanted to go into end-of-life care. And I was researching schools, and I was randomly emailing different schools that I was kind of interested in. And a school that I don't even remember emailing emails me back and said, hey, you want to come for an open house? Okay, sure, why not? Don't even know what you do. And I went there, I literally walked through the door and I said, yep, this is it. I just knew that this was it. I met with the founder of the school and learned about the program, and I'm like, yep, this is what I want to do. This sounds exactly what I want to do. Because we know what to do for ourselves. Our unconscious mind and our bodies know how to heal themselves. When you get a cut on your finger, do you sit there and look at the cut going, okay, stop bleeding, clot, close up, heal? No, you don't do that. You wash it out, you throw a Band-Aid on it, and you forget about it. And 3 days later, you take the Band-Aid off and your body's healed itself. Our bodies and minds know what to do to heal ourselves from anything and everything. We just get in our own way. We need to step back out of our own way and learn how to heal. Any other questions? What are we doing on time?
About 8 minutes.
8 minutes. That's pretty good. Nice. Okay, so who's got the little slips for me? Okay, you want to pass them to the front and I'll collect them? So, I've got a drawing that we're going to do. So, the person's name who we draw, that's who's going to get the prize. Huh? You're going to set that intent?
Yeah.
Good, good. So, the prize is a gift certificate to work with me with an education session and 3 sessions. It's over $700 worth in value. You're winning this then? So you can use it for yourself, or you can give it to someone who you think might need it. My main thing that I work with is worry, stress, direction, life empowerment. But that, even though that's my main thing I work with anything. Pretty much anything, from smoking to weight to self-esteem issues, whatever. I just actually finished up with a client who actually won this gift certificate at another talk I gave, and in 3 sessions, her life is completely turned around. Completely turned around. She's happy, she's finding joy, and before she came in, she was worried about everything. She's in college, she was constantly worried about homework and stress and life and boys and all kinds of things, and she kept bringing that with her every day, and it just kept getting worse and worse and worse and worse and worse. And now, like she said to me last week, she goes, what problem? I have no problem. She goes, I all that stuff's not controlling me anymore. I don't have to worry about it anymore. All right. So who wants to pick a card? Who wants to pick the card? Oh, you guys look bored. Okay. All right. Left hand. Who is it?
Me.
You? That was cheating. Good job. Good job. Thanks. Good job. All right. So, if we don't have any more questions, I'm finished. If that's all.